Hello and welcome. My name is Gail Moffat, and I have this, I'm able to speak to God and some of the saints and Jesus and Mary. And this is my YouTube channel where I am able to express these words to you. Mother Mary said to me a long time ago, I must share these words, and she urged me to do this, so here I am. Brave decision, don't you think? Anyway, I have Saint Sebastian here, and he wishes, as you know, on Tuesdays he always likes to come forward and discuss aspects of health, and God has asked him to do this with me, and so I always find his words quite exciting. So if you're into sort of health, or whether it be Western medicine or herbs or nutrition, he's very, very knowledgeable. He's lived many lives, all with an aspect of understanding health, and so his expertise is quite phenomenal. But anyway, let's go to Sebastian and see what he's saying, because I know that he's waiting by the side of me and wishes to speak. He's saying to me that he's prepared today's words very, very carefully, and he is saying that he would like to talk about a disease, and I feel like it's numerous diseases that he feels will help mankind in a way that perhaps we haven't thought about. He says, as you know, I have vast amounts of experience to do with anything medical or to do with health. And he says that, but since he's been in spirit and working very closely with God, his understanding of health matters has increased several times over. And the reason why it's increased is because he has been in this unique position where he's able to speak to God and ask him about certain diseases and certain health conditions. And he always enjoys the response that God is able to give, and the words that he is able to receive from God, and that is exactly how he is able to increase his knowledge of what is so important, he feels, in our world. He says that today, he would like to discuss a conversation that he had with God very, very recently. And this discussion that he had was one where he feels will help man consider their health perhaps in a different way than perhaps they normally would. And he's saying that he went to God and he said that he worries a great deal about how man struggles with certain health conditions, and he is particularly concerned with a health condition that causes man to not enjoy life in a way that perhaps they could, because whilst it's not an instant killer, it certainly debilitates the life as we know it. And he is talking about the breathing and the lungs. And he says that there are many people that perhaps get some sort of lung disease or debilitation of their lungs, and it means that they're unable to breathe in the most efficient of ways. And he said to God, is there anything that we can do to sort of help man have an understanding of how they can improve their lung capacity and indeed not suffer so greatly? And God's response was and Sebastian is saying it wasn't what he expected. He expected God to come up with a herb or some sort of nutrition or some sort of lifestyle change or something of that nature. But he didn't. He said something that is quite simple, and he was actually quite surprised. And what God said was that he says that God feels that man often will speak the words that are untrue, will speak the words that cause them to have an energy that is restrictive around their throat, but also leading into their lungs and their heart. And he says that often matters of the upper chest cavity are concerning the words that they speak. So if someone has words of integrity or of love or of compassion, they are unlikely to receive this negativity in their upper chest. And he says that, but for some people, they will appear to be of a kind, compassion, loving way, but their thoughts may be in despair or have difficult thoughts of life or enduring life. And again, this will impact their lungs. And he says that and so what God is saying is that the energy that we put out has an impact on our human bodies. And if we change the way that we speak and think, then that can change the disease that is causing us to perhaps not have a good lung capacity and sort of and the way that we are able to breathe. He realizes that this message is quite controversial, and he certainly was surprised to hear this from God, but he wants to say that these were God's words, and he felt that it was imperative that he shared them. It's almost as though our health is based on who we are, and this is something that he's been learning a lot about since he's been close to God in heaven. He thanks you for all listening, and he hopes that you enjoy these words and wishes to pray. As always, it is my greatest wish that man has the ability to heal themselves, that I, as a physician, as a doctor, as somebody who is extremely knowledgeable, am able to impart the information through Gail to your world. I thank you all for listening, and I wish you good health for the future. Amen. So, back to Gail. You know, I have heard ideas about health being impacted by an energy that we create. And so in a way, this doesn't really sort of surprise me. But I was expecting, I must admit, I was expecting Saint Sebastian to come out with a herb. This is good for this. And so in a way, this is about preventative medicine rather than treating a condition. And I wonder what God would say about what happens once you've got this. Is there something that you can do to change the energy? That's an interesting concept, isn't it? Maybe I should speak to God about that and see what he says, because he's on next. He's going to be doing Sunday's video in a minute with me. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, where God does his where Saint Sebastian does his health videos. And then on Thursdays, I'm always going to be doing the reproducing the sermon online that I've done with the Church of All Life that I do on Zoom. I'm going to put the details down below in the box. Sometimes I forget, but I need to do that. So if I haven't done that, send me a message, and then I will give them to you. And then, so that's Thursday's video, and then Sunday, God always comes through with his words, which is always nice to hear from him. Thank you for listening, and as Saint Sebastian said, good health. Bye bye.